there, friends. Today is March 12th. Ooh, spring is springing. When I was a student in medical school, the professor would say, the cancer in room 420, or the manic depressive in room 335. That's a diagnosis, it's not the person. And whatever the disease is, physical or mental, it's always a small part of the person if you take a longer history. And actually, in taking a longer history, you find out you like them. You hear their quirks and their desires and likes and dislikes, and that becomes much more of a flavorful description than a disease.
So you observed that during medical school and didn't want that, and then actually turned that into an action plan of one of the principles of the Gesundheit Hospital, which is that initial patient interviews can be 2 hours, 3 hours, 4 hours. Is that kind of the connection between those two ideas?
Well, I don't know if the listeners know, but I had my 3 hospitalizations. They were diagnosed as ulcers or things like that, emotional problems. And I was given drugs that I hated what they did to my imagination. And so when I became a doctor, I knew that was not a direction I could go in. And I am a reader. I have a huge library of a lot of the great works of human history, and how they talk about people is so much more true to my experience in a long conversation with a patient than the medical textbooks are. And I don't like the labels that psychiatry uses. They misrepresent the person, and they paralyze the person's behavior. And a nice thing about working in our own Gesundheit context, as we did from 71 to 83, is that we lived with the patients. They came to our homes and stayed, and we ate with them, played with them. We became friends. And friendships are possibly the deepest kinds of relationships we can have with another human being. And so people became a lot more complicated than their diagnosis. I am a thoughtful person. Okay, I am not a thoughtful person because of what school did to me, but what great thinkers and listening to them have done for me. Among them, my partner Susan, who is a very smart person. And that in being a thinker, things are much more complicated than trying to get it down to step 1, step 2, step 3. And I found out in my own illness and exploration, and when I stopped it all and decided, and this is the really key structure for me, I decided to be conscious of who I am being and to make the person I decide to be, and I chose 6 qualities: happy, funny, loving, cooperative, creative, and thoughtful. And I think I have lived that life. I think that each person can do it. Most people become the thing others are describing because there is not an education in selfhood. And for me, illness was a very early education in selfness. Hello, friends. I just want to put in a plug here for our work. If you love me and our work, can I put in a plug for you to make one or more donations to our project. Please see our website for more details, and of course you can write me a letter. If you spend time with patients and probe, you find that no matter how much pain they're in, there are times without pain. And it's not like they remove the source of the pain. We could call it a mental thing. It's probably more complicated than that. But that one can choose to define what's happening to their body, with their body, on their body, in the way that they want to define it. And then see how that defining it matters. And so the way I was taught in medical school is pain can be so severe you can't do anything. Well, so in a way they're planting the seed that you can't do anything. Where instead I'm trying to plant the seed that there are huge numbers of things you can do. What do you want to do? How do you want to explore? Do you notice when you do something that the pain isn't there, or that it's very different, lesser, more, and that sort of thing? And I can say, if I relate to my own sense right now, I have an amputation. And I have every reason to go, oh, this is horrible, oh my God, it'll change my life forever, and it hurts. Or I can go about my work, and I have found, and now I've been home for my second day, and so far I haven't had one of the pains like I was having a lot in the hospital.
How do you explain that?
And how do I explain it? I'm discovering, so part of it is a mystery to me. Why isn't it? Because it's just like it was in the hospital. Why is it not doing that? And why don't I live in that why? And other things are that I play with the flexion and extension of the leg, and I like the mystery. I am new to amputation. And I know that from the very beginning that by deciding to do it, I will have the ability to walk normal, to dance normal, to clown normal, which I would never have had with where the 3 operations on the left foot left it. So I am, in a way, anticipating with great excitement that time I'm with a patient somewhere who's just suffering so badly, and I take off my prosthesis and put one of my little hats on the stump, and that person will be laughing. And that drives me. I've discovered in, 54 years in medicine, is that there's a huge amount of medical language and lingo around the issue of pain. And what you pay attention to can be the pain, and in which case it becomes who you are and how people see you, and the grimace on your face, and the fogginess of your mind with the pain medicines. Where I was much more interested in living with the person, so when I saw them not interested in the pain, I'd say, let's go there. And it was a beautiful set of visions to go there and to then remind them when they're in pain. Thanks for joining me here, and Enjoy yourself, and I'll see you next Tuesday. Whee!